Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Monday morning minutes for the week. Something that I thought I would share with you every now and then. I like to have a soda, perhaps you do too. But it turns out over the years they've done studies and found that sodas, pops, cokes, whatever you call them, I've learned that that's different in every part of the country, but that they are not good for you because they're pretty much just liquid sugar, is all that they are. So sometimes I will buy one of these. It's a Mountain Dew Kickstart. And the reason I'll buy this is because it has about a third of the sugar that a soda this size normally has. And in fact, it tries to make you feel a little bit good about yourself because if you look, I don't know if you can quite read it there on the, it looks backwards maybe, but it has 5% juice. 5% juice. It's practically health food when you consider the fact that it has 5% juice in it. So, I mean, why wouldn't you drink it at that point? It's well, so 5% juice. A hint of what we might call truth in this Kickstart, this low sugar soda. And I bring that up because when we look at the world, when we look at people around us, when we look at nature, when we look at communities, we can find seeds of truth. It's what a lot of people over the years, theologians and pastors and scholars, have called common grace. All people have been made in the image of God, whether they're willing to admit that or not. And also, God has revealed himself. Paul writes in Romans chapter 1, since the creation of the world, God's invisible qualities, his eternal power and divine nature have been clearly seen, being understood from what has been made, so that people are without excuse. So all of humanity shares this common grace that God has given, that we all bear the image of God, that we can see God's eternal power, his attributes, his divine nature within nature itself, because God has revealed himself in the order of the created world. Common grace. We all have common grace. We all have that 5% truth, that 5%. Every human being has that within them, and the capacity to recognize God and to see him in the world. But it's that other 95% that gets us. And I'm pretty sure that the other 95% of what composes this can of low sugar soda is absolutely no good for you whatsoever. So we don't want just 5% truth. We want 100% truth. That is why we study for our lifetimes the Bible. That is why we come to worship week in and week out, because we want to take that 5% truth and we want that to grow into 100% truth in our lives. Speaking of 100% truth, this Sunday we will receive the sacrament of communion during our worship service. Yesterday, May 19th, was Pentecost Sunday, but of course we had our vacation Bible school program, so it was all about the kids yesterday. So we're basically going to celebrate Pentecost 1 week later. And so if you prepare your hearts, I mean, go back, read the passages in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John about Jesus's his crucifixion, his death, his burial, and his resurrection, and just think this week about the truth, the 100% truth in what Jesus did for us on the cross to redeem us and to restore us to God himself, to God in heaven, that we can now know God fully and completely, not just the 5%, not just that common grace that we can see in nature, that we can see in people as they bear the image of God, but all of God's truth. So something to think about as we prepare for communion on Sunday. If you worship with us on Facebook, I would love it if you had your find some crackers, find some juice, whatever it might be, so that you can celebrate the sacrament of communion with us. And I do promise you that on Sunday, in the little cups, it will be 100% grape juice, not just 5%, 100% juice in those cups as we celebrate the 100% truth of Jesus Christ and his sacrifice on the cross, his crucifixion, his death, his burial, and his resurrection. So God bless you and keep you, and we will see you Sunday, if not before.